G'day everyone, it's Adam here with a special announcement just to let you know that next month I'll be coming to you live from the battlefields on the Western Front in France and Belgium, and I will be bringing you live podcasts as I walk the ground, and I'm so excited to get back over to the Western Front. It'll be the first time in 3 years since I've been back, so I'm really looking forward to getting back over and walking the ground and bringing you some pretty special interviews that I've got lined up. I've got some special people coming on the podcast. I've got the director of the Sir John Monash Centre, Rebecca Doyle. I'm meeting with the Last Post Association in Ypres, and we're talking about the Last Post, which happens every night at the Menin Gate in Belgium. And I've also, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be describing live on the ground what I'm seeing and bringing the history to life for you guys, and also I'll be sitting down at a night time with my historian friends, and we'll be discussing what we saw on the ground that day and the significance, and we'll also be talking to other passengers and getting their unique experience of what it's all about to have a pilgrimage to the Western Front. And I'm just really excited to bring this to you guys, and I just wanted to say that these are going to be very raw. They're going to be raw podcasts, so they're not going to be edited. They're not going to be as polished as what my editor back here in Australia, Kyle, does. So you will hear, it will be off the cusp. There won't be any structure, and it's just going to be as we say on the ground. It's just going to be as we see it. That's how we're going to say it. So yeah, it won't be the usual quality that it usually is, but I still think it's going to be absolutely fantastic and some really great insights when we're on the ground. So I just wanted to give you a little special message to say that I will be over there. I'll be putting lots of photos up, and also I'll be getting some GoPro footage for the YouTube channel. And I just want to say thank you so much for the support that you guys have been giving me. It's been absolutely amazing and just overwhelming. I'm just really grateful and privileged to do what I do and to bring you this history. It's absolutely, I love it, and I just want to say thank you for your continued support. It means the absolute world to me. So I look forward to coming to you live again on when I'm over on the Western Front. And now it's on to today's episode.
G'day, welcome to True Blue History. I'm Adam Bloom. Today's special guest is the chairman of the Keith Payne VC Veterans Benefit Group, Rick Meehan. And Rick has joined us today to talk about Kane Vandenberg Digger Day. Hi Rick, thanks for joining us on the show.
G'day Adam, thanks for having me.
Mate, it's an absolute honour and a privilege to have you on the show. And so, Rick, can you just share with us a bit about the late Kane Vandenberg, a veteran and a former Shoalhaven local?
Yeah, Kane Vandenberg was in the Navy with myself. He was based at HMAS Albatross. He was an aircraft technician, same as I was, on the same squadron. We were on 817 Squadron, which is Sea King maintaining. He was a mate of mine. He was also a neighbour. And unfortunately, I think it was 9 years ago, he was killed in a service-related accident in Canberra. And I've been close with his family. I sort of took ownership of looking after his kids in a small respect, but also his wife, and as being a neighbour and a close friend. And I thought that was important as a fellow veteran. So he was a mate, and he was a good mate. And to lose him, he's only 49 years of age. So I thought it would be important that we name this day after him. And he was a Nowra local, and this is an event orchestrated and run in Nowra. So it's a perfect opportunity.
So how did Digger Day come about? Obviously, you mentioned Kane, your good friend Kane.
Yeah.
And the partnership with the Shoalhaven Rugby Club.
Well, in the defence, we've always played rugby. I mean, that's the key sport, whether it's your Army, Navy, Air Force, it's always plays rugby union. I became involved helping veterans some time ago, 12 years ago, and I like to follow the rugby game, go locally. And Fred, my vice chairman, he played for Shoalhaven Rugby. I never did. I played rugby league, but I still love the game of rugby. And we just thought, okay, let's try and combine the two. Watching rugby, they always say the game they play in heaven, and combine that with an opportunity to do some fundraising and put in an event to celebrate our Defence Force. So that's how Digger Day came about.
And for you, obviously, you've got you're chairman of the Keith Payne VC. So how did that come about, and how did Keith get involved with Digger Day?
Well, Keith's been involved in it since its inception. I've known Keith for about 15 years, so he's been coming to the Shoalhaven for a long time. He's always helped me at every charitable event I've requested his assistance in fundraising for veterans and promoting our cause with PTSD. So he's been part of the family furniture there for a long time. But as far as me taking over the role of Keith Payne Group, Keith's been doing this a long time. He's been advocating for veterans' rights for 40, 50 years. He's 89 next month. He came to me 4 years ago and said, Rick, I got to retire sooner or later, and I want to semi-retire. So semi-retire at 85. So he said, I need you to take over my legacy. And I said, mate, I'll be honoured to. But the only problem was, he carries the name of Keith Payne VC, and that name opens doors. I said, I'm only Rick Meehan, and it doesn't open things. So we've got to form a charity and use your name. So we went through all the protocols, fair trading, the whole lot, got the permissions, and we use his name in our getting the charity up and running, and that's how it got formed. So since then, I've been chairman ever since. Still involved with Keith, so he's slowing down in what he wants us to do. He still gives me a lot of jobs, but he's slowing down in his workload. So, he's still the patron. I still listen to what he says. His good advice. So that's how it all came about.
So for you over the years, and with Digger Day, how obviously it's come from humble beginnings, with the growth that it's now on. How does it make you feel with the growth from being humble when you started to what it is now?
I'm overwhelmed by the support. I mean, it really is. I mean, the very first Digger Day we had, if you look at Digger Day as one event, we do numerous events. But if you look at this one event, we started off with just one helicopter. It was an old Iroquois and Keith flying in. So one VIP, one old Iroquois, and we had a crowd then. But since now, we get 3 helicopters coming in, and we get Red Beret parachutists jumping in. We've had 5 and 6 Victoria Cross recipients coming in as VIPs, as well as George Cross and Cross of Valours. So we've gone from 1 VIP up to 12 or 13 VIPs with 3 modern aircraft, Red Berets. So it's a big spectacle, honouring our veterans. And so it's grown, and the numbers, even today we had Digger Day, which is our 12th one, and the crowds were enormous. So it's good that it's kept going. It's growing in numbers, as in the support and the following, and the support from the Defence Force. It's on their number one agenda for community support. The Navy jumps in with no troubles. The Army jumps in with no hassles. So it's well supported as a number one supporter as a community perspective.
So you mentioned that you looked into, so it's for veterans, but it's also civilians, and you mentioned the George Cross and the Cross of Valour. Why do you feel it's important to also incorporate civilians' bravery in Digger Day?
Well, Digger Day isn't always about veterans. It's an iconic synonym. It's about mateship and camaraderie and doing what's best for helping each other out. Now, you can't just leave the civilian. These guys have gone off. Have not gone to war to do any of these brave acts. They've done it off the spur of the moment acts, and they're not trained to do that. Our veterans are trained to do things, Army, Navy, Air Force, but civilians, they act on the spur of the moment, similar to military, but these guys probably aren't trained to do what our level of training, and they've gone off and done some heroic acts, and the Cross of Valour and George Cross recipients. So they should be recognised for their service to the communities, veterans to the country, but these guys to the community, and their acts of bravery are just as high and should be recognised as the Victoria Cross, and that's why I wanted to include them, and they should never be discarded and be part. They are equal, and they are equal. The Victoria Cross is equal with the Cross of Valour and the George Cross.
So you had some, like this, you mentioned that the special guests arrive in style with helicopters coming in, and who have been some of the notable guests that you've had in the past attend Digger Day, and who came this year?
Well, this year we had descendants of Albert Jacker, Reginald Judson VC, Reg Raddy VC, obviously Keith Payne was there again today. Victor Bosco was a Cross of Valour, and we had the great-granddaughter of Percy Statten VC, and also the son of Dasher Wheatley VC. So we've had some notable descendants. Previously, we've had Captain Rambadahadu Limbu. He's the last living Gurkha VC. He's attended our event from Nepal. We had Johnson Bihari from London. He's been at Digger Day twice from London. We've had Willie Appiata from New Zealand. He's attended 3 times. We've had one of our Cross of Valours whilst he lives in Canada. He's come from Canada for the event. So we've had some very notable characters and recipients who've attended Digger Day. We were given one night we had after Digger Day in 2018, we had a big charity ball, and we had 5 VCs attend that night. And Bill Speakman, the last Korean War VC, whilst he could not attend, he done a recorded interview for the audience that night. So from the Royal Chelsea Hospital, so in his red coat. So that was a memorable moment for us. So we've had some, 5 and 6 VCs, CVs and GCs. So it's been a notable event.
So Digger Days run every year, and is it the same date every year, or does it change?
No, it's always probably the second or third week, third Saturday in July. It's always I always have it the goes on the school holiday, so it's always the first Saturday after school returns on the mid-year school holidays. Because I know the Navy and Army all go on holidays with the children, and the base shuts down. Not totally, but I know that all the pilots that we need for the aircraft to fly, and the Red Berets, they're all back from the holidays with their children. So it's always the first Saturday after school returns on the mid-year break.
And it's held at, as you said, it's in the Nowra, so it's held in Nowra every year. It doesn't change.
Yeah. Well, it's always held in Nowra, but we've opened up also Digger Day in Adelaide. So that's been going for 4 years. And that's a different code. We play AFL down there. So Digger Day's been running down there for 4 years successfully. And Ron Payne, Keith Payne's eldest son, he runs it for us down there. Fred and I, my vice chairman, we fly down with Keith down there to assist on the day and be part of the spectacle and the running of the show. So Digger Day does run in Adelaide under AFL sport, and we run it up here every year at the same ground in Nowra.
So apart from COVID causing a 2-year delay, how has the event been received by locals throughout the years, and is it growing with popularity and plenty of support?
It is growing, as it has grown every year. And the last, we had Digger Day today, and we haven't played for 2 years, and this would have been the 3rd year. And it was well received. It's probably our biggest crowd we've had in 12 years. So I think people were waiting for it. They've all had probably a gutful of COVID and the rain, and we just had a great weekend. We had 3 helicopters coming in. We had great recipients, and for people to come and meet, and it was well received. And said it was our biggest crowd we've had in 12 years. So that tells me that the earning for this event is still with the public, and they came out in the droves today to see the spectacle. So I can't complain.
I should say that Rick and I are recording this live, so I was there today with Rick at Digger Day, and it was a spectacle. It was absolutely fantastic. It was amazing to see the choppers come in, for Keith to get out. The last post played on the violin was by Rachel.
Rachel Bostock.
Amazing.
So Rachel's an amazing lady. She's probably become world acclaimed now. Everyone knows who she is. She plays a fantastic rendition of the last post, and she came to notoriety. I saw her just before 2018, and I got her down for the Digger Day Ball, and the crowd didn't know who she was or what she was doing. And when she played that night, that's when Ray Martin, who was attending my event, he grabbed her, and he used Rachel for Keith Payne's documentary, which Ray did in 2020. So from that, Rachel became even a bigger person in status. Ray Martin promulgated her, and now we have her she's been Digger Day in Adelaide, Digger Day here, and the crowd just love who she is. She's a lovely young lady and plays the violin beautifully.
So apart from Rachel, do you have, if Rachel's unavailable, Rick, do you get like a bugler or?
Yeah, we've got a bugler. His name's Peter Williams. Peter's played previously before Rachel. He's in his late 80s as well. He's a lovely veteran. I think he's an ex-commando himself. He wears a green beret, and but he plays with an official bugle, not a trumpet, or what do you call them? I'm not a musical instrument, but it's a bugle, but his bugle is from the Boer War. It's an original Boer War bugle. And he travels around Nowra and the Shoalhaven at many Anzac Day services, blowing the bugle and playing the last post. So Peter's played previously, but I know he's getting a bit older now, so he's slowing down. That's why I had to go to Rachel, and it's added a bit of contrast to what we normally see, and it's been taken on greatly.
Mate, absolutely. Like, that's the first time today that I've actually seen Rachel live, and I tell you, I had goosebumps. The hairs stood up. It's one thing to hear it on a bugle. It's one thing to hear it on a trumpet, but hearing it on a violin just adds something different, doesn't it? It's a very everyone, and I noticed too that everyone was just really somber in it too. Everyone was respectful, and it was just there was a real hush that went around the oval, and it was brilliant.
It was fantastic, and if anyone wants to see Rachel play, they just go to YouTube and put Rachel Bostock last post, and it's a beautiful rendition, and people will get to appreciate the talent of this young lady.
And also Ravelli too. She plays Ravelli as well, and
he plays Ravelli, and
amazing. So guys, go out when you do listen to this. Go out and actually look Rachel up, and go and support her too. You know, she's an amazing, as Rick has said, she's an amazing young lady, and I met her today, and absolutely echo what Rick is saying. So do yourself a favour, get out and actually follow Rachel. So, Rick, for you, what are the plans going forward for Digger Day, and what are you hoping to achieve long term?
Well, I want Digger Day to continue. I'd like to see Digger Day performed in every state, and I'd like to see it in Queensland. I'd like to see it in Victoria, and I don't really care whether it's AFL, rugby league, or marbles. Digger Day is about, and Digger Day, I've got to say, Digger Day is not about commemoration; it's celebration. Now, we've already got two days of commemoration. We've got Anzac Day and we've got Remembrance Day. Digger Day I founded for a day of celebrating our Defence Force, celebrating our members, in the men and ladies, in uniform, past, present and in the future. So it's a day of celebration. So you can have a game of marbles, have a Digger Day marble tournament and get veterans out playing marbles. Doesn't matter. As long as you get out, sell the picture, sell the name of what Digger Day is about, what that word digger is, and that's what it's about. So I want to see it in every state. So I'm talking to people in Cairns who may want to start up there, but we've got it in 2 states now, and hopefully one day it'll start. And and Kerry Staton may want to start something in Tasmania with her Victoria Cross site. So, we never know. But I'm always there to listen. I'm always there to advise and coach and guide at how we can get these things running.
It was what I noticed too, Rick, when I came in today, and what I noticed was that it was the veterans that were there, like, mate, it was unbelievable to see so many veterans there and happy to be there, and the young cadets and it was amazing, mate. Absolutely. Like, today was my first one that I've attended, and mate, I'll definitely be back because it was amazing, and it is, like you said, it was celebrating the defence today. We weren't commemorating, we were celebrating.
Celebrating, yeah. And we say that. We want every veteran to come along. Wear your jacket. Put your medals on. Celebrate your service. I don't care if you've done 1 day or 1,000 days. Celebrate your service. Wear your medals proudly. Walk around with your mates. Watch rugby or AFL, doesn't really matter. Talk to your buddy. Talk to your oppo about what you served, where you served, what you did, and the fun times you had. Most veterans had fun times. We've all had. Any job can have a few shitty days, but it was a fun time. So come along, and it was great. And we had veterans of all ages, from 95 down to the young cadets. So we had a vast array of veterans at all conflicts, all tours, all ages, both sexes coming along, and they had a great time. That's
mate, it was. And I was speaking to a Malayan veteran that before we came out to record this, and mate, it was amazing to speak to a Malayan veteran. Like, there's not many of those boys around, and to speak to him, he was, he just said, I'll be back next year. I really, really enjoyed it, and that's what it's about. And I saw a few veterans, and I thanked them for their service, Rick, and they were just taken back by it. They were like, thank you, that means so much. And that's what it is. I feel that if we can do that more often, thank our veterans and Rick, you've served as well, so thank you for your service. It's something that we do on Anzac Day and we do on Remembrance Day, but these days are great to actually do it more often for veterans, and
Totally agree. And that's why Digger Day is about celebrating our members, our men and women in
That's
uniform.
right.
That's what it's
Exactly.
about. Celebrating.
So, Rick, how do people donate to Digger Day and other veteran support services? How do they go about it?
Well, normally we fundraise on the day. I mean, we walk around with buckets and we sell. The players play in a Digger Day jersey, which is special to the day. So the team of Shoalhaven, which we support, play in a special commemorative jersey on that day. So, and then those jerseys are auctioned off, and then we have signed jerseys which we auction off tonight. So the jersey tonight went for $1,800, and the other jerseys, they can go between $150 up to $500 a jersey. So we make around 10,000. So that's how we make our money for Digger Day. So we make about $10,000 on that day just by selling the jerseys, selling the framed jerseys and the signed jerseys, and walking around with a bucket and just collecting money. So that's how we do it mainly for that day. We fundraise other ways throughout the year, but Digger Day is probably our primary day of fundraising, where we're giving a fair bit back to the public, and also the jerseys, they are collector's items. So yeah.
Rick, it's vital work that you're doing, and I'd like to thank you for coming on True Blue History and telling us about the great fundraising work that Digger Day is doing. And, mate, we will get you back on again to talk about your service later on down the track, mate. So thank you so much, Rick, for coming on True Blue History.
Mate, it's a pleasure, Adam. Thanks for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review for the podcast on whatever platform you get your podcasts. And if you feel like supporting us, you can now via our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/truebluehistory, or buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/truebluehistory, and check out our new website, truebluehistory.com, for more great content.